You work with a housing authority.
Yeah, one of the people on the phone. Who was the other person with, let's see, 203-733-3552? Who was that? No, it is, you're muted, whoever you are. Just to let us know who's here. Okay. We're missing one of our members, Shane, but I guess we'll get started because it is time to do that. So on the minutes, there isn't, I already know that there is an error. I guess line 11 under B, where it says Washington Depot Down Payment Assistance Fund. It's supposed to be the Washington Housing Down Payment Assistance Fund. That's it. That's an error that I saw in it. Are there any other additions, corrections to the minutes? Can I have a motion to accept the minutes from somebody, one of our members?
A motion to accept the minutes?
Yes, it's going to be you, Lindsay. And or Woody, do you want to second that? Okay. So the minutes are accepted. All right, so we're going to go to Bill, who already started a little bit, but I don't think everybody heard what you had to say. We met with Bill, Michelle and I met with Bill, but we wanted to, have our commission support what they're trying to do as well. So that's why he's here to tell us what's up with the Washington Housing Trust and ways that we can be of assistance to that trust. So go ahead,
Okay.
Bill. Go, Bill.
All right, thank you, Judy, and hello to everybody. I'd like to leave a lot of time for you to just ask me questions, but let me just give sort of a brief update on where we are. As you may know, we did what we call the Vincent Farm project. We bought the Vincent Farm, the house next to the New Preston Firehouse, and it was about a little under 4 acres. Under zoning, it was 1 lot. So I used what's called Section 830G of the Connecticut General Statutes, which allows you to override the zoning regulations as long as 30% of the units are affordable. And of that 30%, half have to be for people of 60% of area median income and half for people of 80% of area median income. So the whole project was all for under the AMI, so it qualified. So we subdivided that, built 2 new homes, renovated the farmhouse. We got a grant of $480,000 from the state first time homeowner program, and $70,000 from the town, and some private donations. And those were all sold. We actually had more people wanting to buy them, and some of the people were over the limits too, so that presented a problem for them. But so it clearly demonstrated a need for single family housing. So we received a gift about 4 years ago of a little under 4 acre parcel on Baldwin Hill. Would be the property just past Wayne Johnson's on the left. So what we're planning to do now, and hopefully with your help, is I've contacted Paul Szymanski at Arthur Howland Associates, who did all our work for the Vincent Farm, to go and do a feasibility study, to, do the deep pits and perks and see, the wetlands, and see if we can split that into at least 2 lots, and then proceed with something similar maybe to what we just did. The problem is going to be financing. We're not sure the state's going to continue to fund the project, first time homeowner stuff. So the key would be to find out what exactly we can do with that, and then move forward. So that's sort of like what we have in the offing. And I had talked with Judy about, coming to the Housing Commission to get a grant to finance the actual cost of putting that together. So that's sort of, our next thing. And I actually had a conversation with someone who is also thinking about donating some land for housing that don't want their name mentioned or anything like that. So, you know, we're constantly looking for opportunities. I'd love to see the town jump in with something. You know, one of the properties that really would be great would be, you know, the old Chippewa Club property, which had, you know, the JD Tuckers and whatever. And then they had 3 single family homes there as well, which is, you know, walkable to the depot. So I don't know whether maybe there's some conversations going on there or not, but anyhow, you know, we're always looking for additional possibilities, you know, to meet that need of, you know, downsizing seniors and young people.
Bill, did you get an estimate about how much it would cost to have this feasibility study done?
Yeah, I think I sent you an email, Judy. I contacted, or at least I emailed Paul about 3 weeks ago, and I haven't heard back. So I'm
Okay.
going to nudge him. I know he's awfully busy, but you know, I will keep pushing him on that, you know, because
Okay.
we're anxious to get that information.
So we have no idea about. that.
Yeah, right now, he hasn't gotten back to me with you know, estimate.
Is there anybody else here that has any questions or wants to make any comments? One of the things that we had talked about with Bill is helping him out with maybe a website. And I think Lindsay said that she would, you know, be able to do that.
Yeah, we have our management company, Connecticut Real Estate Management. They go by the acronym CREM. You know, and her name's slipping my mind, but she has put something together that actually is not too bad. So what I could do is Anne Marie Ovid is maybe, if Lindsay, if you're willing to do something to help her, I could have Anne Marie touch base with you, you know, to improve sort of what we have already.
Sure. I mean, I'm happy to connect with Anne Marie. I don't have website design expertise, so I don't know that I volunteered to do that necessarily, but I could certainly help
Okay.
out in any way.
Well,
I think it's really important to get the word out.
Yeah, well, we'll figure that out too.
May I interrupt for a minute? Contrary to what Bill's saying, and I'm, like Bill, a member of the trust,
Who's speaking?
Ted Bent. I'm sorry if you can't see.
Oh,
me.
there you are. No, I can see you now. Okay.
If I can interrupt, the trust website is pretty damn good. The only thing that's missing right now are the application forms that are indicated are available to download, which the last time I looked about a week ago were not there. And Anne Marie Offit is going to put them there. I'll look up, while we're talking, I'll look up the website address and share it with everybody.
Yeah, that would be helpful, because
Yeah.
when I Googled it, I was having a hard time finding it. I think that's what started this conversation.
I mean, I had looked at it and I was having trouble finding out, you know, really what was going on, you know, where you were and what you were doing. That was difficult for me. Michelle?
I was just gonna say that, Ted, if you could share that, that would be great, because I couldn't find the website either. Lindsay and I both looked for it. And what we did talk about is not necessarily creating a website, but just a page of information on the Housing Commission's page, so that if people find us, they can then find you, and we can put some static information there. And so I was wondering, Bill, would it be best for me to just reach out to Anne Marie Ovid to do that? Because we can grab some of the information we already put in the housing plan, a couple pictures that we already have, contact information, and just, you know, a blurb, whatever you guys want, we can just stick there so that people can find you.
Yeah, I think that makes sense in terms of making it easier for people to find information, you know, on any organization. Yeah, so I'll contact Anne Marie and ask her to get in touch with you.
That'd be great. That'd be great. The other thing that we talked about with you, and then we have talked about as a commission a little bit, and we don't have to do it right now, like the words and stuff, but as we were preparing our budget, we talked about some outreach, some mailings, and one of the topics that we wanted to talk about was what you had mentioned about donating land and the tax advantages and how you had sort of a step-by-step thing put together. So that's another area at some point in the future, we would love to work with you to kind of do a mailing or promote the donation of property to the trust for the purpose of affordable and senior housing. So we can talk about that in the future as well.
Yeah, I mean, the key to all of this is, getting the land and, getting financing, for, what we're doing. I mean, the good news is that these, the 100% of area median income starts for a single person at $90,000, and it goes up with the number of dependents. So, something, I think the 100% of area median income we sold for 220,000. I think that sold it at 220. So 80% was around 190. So the people aren't getting a free housing; they're actually paying. But the key ingredient that's just been the killer here in Washington is the price of the land. You can't buy a lot. I haven't looked at the MLS in a couple of weeks, but the last lot I saw was like, that really was probably pretty good. It was like 150,000.
Right. So we'll work on that in the future, figure that mailing and getting the word out about the donation of land. That's one of the objectives in the new.
Yeah,
plan.
Certainly that. And clearly, the plan that the town has adopted, there's work to be done at the zoning commission, particularly, to work on being able to create more affordable land, rather than having to go through the whole 830G process, which, I mean, I do it for free, but I mean, if we had to hire a lawyer, I mean, what I did was about $20,000 worth of work. And, we don't have the money to hire someone to do that, so.
Right. That's great. Does anyone else have questions about the housing trust?
I can just quickly report that indeed I'm wrong. The housing trust's website is not currently working. It was working 2 weeks ago. So I'll get in touch with Anne Marie and see what's going on. She may be in fact working on it to set up those application downloads, but I'll let you, Michelle, I'll let you know.
Great, thanks, Ted.
Okay, anything else?
I'd be interested in hearing from Bill a little more about at least the potential of units that might come out of what are appearing to be coming into availability, both on Baldwin Hill and perhaps elsewhere.
Yeah, I mean, the Baldwin Hill, I'm sort of hoping that might be able to be split into two, possibly. Just looking at the soil maps and everything, the wetlands maps and whatever. The key to this is, what we did with the Vincent Farm. I think we paid $245,000 to $47 for that. And then we ended up putting money into it to fix it up, but we got 2 lots out of it. So the lots basically cost us $20,000 each. And the cost of building a house in Washington is any different than building a house in New Milford or Waterbury. The materials are all the same, they cost the same, but it's the price of the land. You can't, there's just no affordable land. You can't buy anything that's affordable. So the only way you can do it, because zoning, I mean, the unintended consequence of the change to soil-based zoning in 1978 was to basically, the last subdivision was Revere Road in 1978, 1 acre subdivision. There were no others after that. And I was, the town attorney at that time. And, the developer, there were some issues with the developer in terms of they wanted to sell some of the the lots right on the front without completing the whole road. And the developer, Tom Hackett, said to me, he said, we'll never come back to this town again. It said, it's just not, you can't make any money. And that was where, you know, the school teachers lived, you know, Gary Fitzherbert, who was head of Devereaux, the Hubbards. I mean, it was just, you know, Robbie Kane, the optometrist, you know, that was the like affordable homes. Those sold for like 55, 60,000. Of course, it's 1980, 81. But the cost of the land in Washington, it just, because zoning makes you have these large lots, it's just not, it doesn't work if you want to have affordable housing. It's not, and zoning at some point needs, and I think, you know, the study indicated or set forth that unless you make some changes to the zoning code in terms of getting, you know, I mean, when you look at the Washington Green where I live, I mean, most of the houses on are 1/3 of the acre, maybe half an acre. You don't need, I mean, if you're going to have true soil-based zoning to say that, you know, it's the ability of the lot to handle the effluent, you don't need lots of land where you have good soils. But, you know, that's the real issue. So, you know, we're trying, you know, we've done 37 units of multifamily. We experimented with the single family, which was very successful. You know, so I think probably, you know, Baldwin Hill, that property would be more like single family. I'd love to get something, you know, as I mentioned, something like the old Chappaqua Club property where you could actually do some, you know, senior housing that, you know, is in a great location for walkability and all the rest of it.
Sure.
Bill, I have another question. It's sort of a different direction, but are there still wait lists for all of the rental properties that you have? And oh shoot, there was another question I wanted to ask. Oh, are you planning on reapplying for the CDBG grant in the next,
Yeah, so
if they open it this spring?
Yeah, so all our rental units are rented. We have 100% rental. You know, we do have people that are on a waiting list. You know, I'm not sure the status of it right now, but, you know, usually when something opens up, you know, we turn it over, we rehab the unit, paint it, fix it up and rent it. So, you know, the need for multifamily housing is, you know, particularly for, you know, young folks, but, you know, you need something bigger than a 1-bedroom. You know, you've got to have two bedroom at least. In terms of the CDBG grant, you know, last year the state gave all the money to the state-sponsored housing. So I'm going to, you know, check, you know, with the Department of Housing and see if they're going to, you know, change that and open it up to, you know, affordable housing like we have it. And if so, then, you know, certainly we would go ahead, because we need to make, you know, capital improvements that aren't, you know, covered completely by our replacement reserves.
I just thought of one other thing. Sorry, another question.
Alright.
Judy and Lindsay and I were at the Regional Housing Council meeting this morning, and they
Right.
mentioned CHODOs, which are community housing development organizations. And if you have to meet certain criteria, but if you meet the criteria to be considered a CHODO, there's state money available. Some of which is available for operating expenses for yourself, for the trust. So the Litchfield Housing Authority or Housing Trust, whatever they are, went ahead and went through the steps to become one of these organizations. And I didn't know if you were aware of it or thinking of it.
Well, here's the problem with any kind of state funding, is that from the day you apply for the funding and assuming that you get it to the day that you have a property that's available for someone to occupy is a minimum of 5 years. The Finson Farm took over 5 years. You know, they sent me a letter. I'll always remember, I got it on my birthday. I thought it was a nice present, that they were giving us a $480,000. And I didn't get the money for 4 years. They didn't send me the check until 4 years later, because, you know, they had to go through bonding, you know, this politics, boom, boom, boom. So, you know, it raised an issue for us because it, you know, the budget changed, you know, the cost of materials went up. So if you're going to do any kind of financing through the state of Connecticut, you're not going to see any results for 5 years.
Got it. Thank you. Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, and ideally what, and again, I always marvel that, the three lowest mill rates in Connecticut are Greenwich, Salisbury, and Washington. And I think one of the issues that residents here have to make is what do they want their town to be, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years from now? And if they don't invest in things like housing, it's the town's going to become, just as the state predicted, the population is going to shrink to 2,450. I mean, one of the interesting things is Litchfield County is in the top 10 of counties. There's like 3,000 something counties in the United States. It's in the top 10 of ones that are losing population. It gets the weekenders and stuff, but I think for like the last 6, 7, 8 years, there's more people dying here than being born. So the population just keeps shrinking. But you don't see it in terms of traffic and all that, because the full-time houses become part-time people. But they don't live here. They don't participate in the community, not because they don't want to, but because they're just not here. So the town's got to at some point say, we could invest some money here. We could bond, $2-3 million. I'm going to raise the mill rate that much, and do some of this housing so that we have volunteers for the fire department, and for the EMS and all that. But that's at some point, folks, the town's got to bring that to the public and say, what do you want your town to be, and then make a decision. Yeah. And the blessing is that we have, financial resources to actually do some things.
Any other questions, comments? Bill,
I just
thank
want to
you.
note that I want to keep this conversation going with you, Bill, about how the commission can really help with this idea of land donation and really making that known. And I want to hear more about, in your experience over the years of getting this donated land, what has been the most effective? Hopefully there's things we can do to help with mailings, events, initiatives, but maybe it's also a lot of personal relationships and
Yeah,
conversations.
What we've done is, the three projects that we did, I donated the land for the senior housing, and Jenna Risley donated the land and the money to do Church Street. This person that donated the land on Baldwin Hill was going to give it to Steep Rock. And we decided at Steep Rock that it wasn't contiguous to any properties. It had no significant features. It was nothing we could use for trails or anything. And I talked with the family's lawyer, and they said, yeah, fine. So, I think, this conversation I had with someone recently, I just mentioned before the meeting started, about someone who wants to donate some land. They're thinking of Steep Rock, but I spoke with their representative about using it for housing. So, I think we really somehow, and I think it's got to come maybe from the commissions and whatever, but is this focus. The affordable housing plan, I think, is great. The town's plan of conservation development is very thoughtful, but it's getting the message out and getting people to look and say, if we don't do something, then it's just going to become, a more or less a gated community. I hate to say that, but that's what's going to happen. That people don't live here. They just come and visit.
Jay?
Can I just add, I've been listening, and Bill, you're exactly right. I know the Board of Selectmen have talked about it. I think there's a struggle of how to go about it. How do we do that? How do we, whether the town bonds, as you know, we don't have a history of bonding in this town in terms of the town doing that. But I think with the housing plan and the PLCD coming up again, and the discussions you guys are, we have to find a better way to engage more people to move forward, because I agree. Otherwise, we're going to be exactly what you said, Bill. We're going to be a gated community pretty soon, and
Yeah.
That doesn't help any of us, I don't think. So.
Well, my family moved here 60 years ago, this coming August. And, you know, change happens. You have to accept change. You don't have any choice, but you can manage it to a degree. And we do have the ability, the resources, and there's very generous people here in town who give lots of money for lots of things. And it's, you know, I mean, you know, it's a matter of, you know, finding more Gina Risleys, you know, who will give you, you know, $3-4 million. You know, so I mean, that's, you know, I mean, the history of the town, so almost in a way is sort of sad, is that every institution in town was basically given to it. I mean, you know, Washington doesn't really have a park system. They have Steep Rock. You know, you have a library that was given to them, you know, so that the town never really invested in lots of things, you know, because they didn't have to. There were, you know, wealthy people that, you know, I mean, when the depot was wiped out in the flood, you know, all the buildings, my building down there, you know, that was all the work of, again, Gina Risley's mother and Henry Van Sinderen. But, you know, we're running out of rich people that want to give money to the town, and at least for the things that, you know, particularly housing.
So we have work to do.
Yeah,
Obviously.
we as a town, we really do. And the good thing is that some very thoughtful people that, you know, serve on your commission and served in the planning and that have really come up with some great ideas, but it's getting it, you know, in place, zoning, making some changes, you know, getting some money up front that can be used. You know, I think the key thing is, you know, these houses, you don't give them away. I mean, we sold the combination of those houses, those 2, 3, 4, we sold those for over $600-something thousand. You know, so, but, you know, the money, the key is getting the land. And if you can get a piece of property and split it up with 830G, or have the zoning commission, you know, make some changes so that in some parts of the town, maybe you go to 1 acre zoning again, that will really help. I mean, there's no silver bullet here. There's a lot of things that have to come together, which have been identified in these, you know, reports and things. And it's just a matter of, you know, pushing forward on it. And I'm optimistic that, you know, we'll be able to do it.
Great.
Thank you so much, Bill, for coming.
Well,
and
listen,
speaking with us.
well, thanks to all of you for what you're doing. I really, you know, I had a great conversation with Michelle and Judy a few weeks ago, and I'm very enthusiastic about, you know, moving forward on a lot of the things that have been identified in these reports to do. So thank you.
And make sure you let us know as soon as you get the estimates.
Yeah, yeah, the minute I get that, and I'll just, you know, any significant thing of someone that may be donating or doing something, I'll keep you in the loop.
Excellent.
Okay. All
Thank
right.
you. Thank you.
All right.
You want to go?
Next, Diana.
You know what I'll do? I'm going to mute myself, and I'm just going to listen to the meeting and just.
Great. Good. So
It's great,
Diana.
Yep,
Okay.
Diana Arfin is here, and we're excited to introduce Diana and John here from Habitat for Humanity, who have a project here in town, and we've mentioned them in our affordable housing. And they sold a house not too long ago to a young family here, a mother and children who I knew from the after-school program and from hockey. So we're so glad to have them as part of our community working, building affordable houses here. And we just want to hear from them about their plans for the future, because we know they have more lots, but we want to know what you're thinking and how we can help, because I know the community would love to be more involved on the next build, to contribute. You ready, Diana? You want to share with us?
There we go. Okay, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm having computer issues. Hi, thank you for having me. Little introduction, I took over as Executive Director of Housatonic Habitat last summer. John took over as the board president around the same time. So the two of us have been educating ourselves and learning more about your community and the potential development that we have up there. It's on Myfield Lane. I don't know if all of you are familiar with that neighborhood. We were gifted land from 2 of your residents about, I'm not even sure how many years ago. Do you know, John?
3-4 years ago, I believe, Mel.
Yep. So, and it was land to build 7 more homes, single-family homes. So we built our first one. We had to, COVID put us behind a little bit. So the first one we finished up last summer, and Shannon and her kids moved in August, and they're so terrific, and they're so excited to be in their own home. We couldn't have asked for better homeowners for that one. So this year we've kind of taken a step back as we try to figure out what we're going to do next up there. If we're going to build 1, 2, we still have 6 more properties. So how we're going to fund them, who we're going to place in these homes. Believe it or not, that has been a little bit of a struggle, trying to find homeowners who can afford a home in that. Even Habitat homes, I don't know how much you know about the business model, but what we say is it's a hand up, not a handout. We don't give the homes away. They have to qualify for a mortgage just like any other homeowner. There are some advantages in working with Habitat. We do subsidize the mortgage, et cetera. But it was, took a little while to find the appropriate family in Shannon and her crew, and we're very lucky we did. But yeah, so we've just taken the last few months to kind of sit back and revisit and think about our next step up there. So today we're here observing, meeting you, really trying to get to know the community a little bit better.
Do you have a list of people that are possible applicants?
We do have a number of people who have applied to be homeowners with Habitat over the past 6 months. But again, they have to be able to qualify for a mortgage. And yeah, so yeah, we do have applicants, but they're not necessarily qualified. Or maybe they have a bigger family. These are small 2-bedroom homes, and they're about 1,000 square feet. Some of our applicants have 5 kids and they want 4 bedrooms, and so there are other factors in addition to the price that that we run into.
Jenny, I was just gonna say, in one of our 4 public forums we had on the when we were developing our affordable housing plan, several people, there were teachers in town, they reached out to Habitat. So I think if we knew there was a house on the horizon, we could help you find applicants. There are people in town that we know that are looking.
That is so terrific. Yeah, thank you. That's good to know.
Sure.
Yeah,
Can you give us a little bit of an update about construction costs and has it come down? I know things were sort of put on hold for COVID, and has that changed?
Do you want to address that, John?
Sure. So good evening, everybody. I'm John Gonski. I've been involved with Habitat for about almost 6 years now, and took over as president of the board in July, same time that Diana was instated as the president. So we came into power there at the same time, if you will. It's really been our mission to really kind of get this started again up there in Washington. We were really pleased to put the Kozak family into the house this summer, and due to dedication late summer. And obviously we have 6 improved lots that we're looking to work on. Over the last year, with the construction costs just doubling or tripling, we put a pause button on the construction, because what we did is we focused more on renovations of existing properties, and buying them, doing some minor renovations and reselling them, putting Habitat families into those properties. We're at the point now where the construction costs, we know they're never going to come back down to where they were previously, but they're down at least a reasonable level now where we feel as though we can manage those costs. In addition to that, we've hired a construction manager that has nearly 40 years of experience in the field, that has a lot of relationships that he can leverage to help us kind of keep those costs lower, and in turn be able to put those families into those properties. And just to expand a little bit upon what Diana had said before, it's a hand up, not a handout. Income levels, there's a very specific income range that we're kind of looking for. So we're not looking for that person that can, it's a $200,000 a year. It's that 45 to 70,000, I think is our range, right, Diana?
Yeah, yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
So that's our range. And, just listening to what you're sharing, that you've got a list of people that are trying to get into the rental properties in town, that is really appealing for us, because very often we're able to find a home for people that perhaps they're paying less for a mortgage than they would be for their rent. That happens frequently. So we're at the point now, there's some logistical things we're working on the construction. We're trying to determine which design and if there's any restrictions on the type of designs that we can do on that property. There is an existing homeowners association. We're working with the lawyer to make sure that as we move forward, we do it in the most practical sense possible. Ideally, we'd love to break ground on 3 properties and build 3 homes up there this year. But we need to make sure that it goes within the homeowner association guidelines and it meets that.
That is fantastic news. We love to hear that. So a couple of things that come to mind that the Housing Commission can help with. One is if you want to give us sort of guideline, like your income guidelines of who would be eligible to apply for those, how we can put out some information. So if you want to start sort of gathering a list of possible applicants for future homes, we can put those requirements out. I don't know what your parameters are exactly, but we can definitely do that. And then also keep us posted when the builds start, because if there are things that the community can do, I think I've had people reach out and say, hey, I heard it was Habitat that got the Myfield property. We would love to contribute. And then all of a sudden a house was built. We didn't really know. So just keep us posted. We would love to publicize that.
Well, and we would love to get the community involved. So thank you for opening that door. That's great.
Sure.
So I'm happy to send you the info on the financials, the salary requirements, et cetera. And as soon as we figure out when we're going to get started up there, we'll let you know.
Also, just so you know, we have a down payment assistance program that we run with the Housing Development Fund, and there are income limits to that as well. But anybody qualifying for a mortgage for Habitat would probably be qualified for the down payment assistance program that we have here as well.
That is one of the benefits of having a Habitat home is Habitat covers the down payment.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's great.
Yeah. Yeah, we cover the down payment and we subsidize the mortgage. So those are the advantages of being a Habitat family.
So tell me some ways our community could get involved with you and help you out.
Well, sure. So when we're ready to start construction up there, depending on which way we go, if we go with the modular, which is what the last one was, if we go with the stick built, there will absolutely be opportunities for work days for different groups. It may be as simple as coming in and helping us paint, or we would absolutely need some of the skilled laborers, whether it's flooring, electricians, plumbing, that type of thing. So as soon as we know exactly which route we're going, if you could help us get the word out there, that would be terrific.
Great. Anybody have any other questions or comments? It sounds great. I mean, it sounds like this is going to happen.
Yeah, we have every intention. Yep.
Okay, so hi, Shane here. I'm a little bit late. I had some internet issues. So question, good to put a face with the name, by the way. So question for you in terms of, you were just speaking about the Myfield location, correct? Are there other
Yes.
locations in town that you guys have
No.
anything going on or anything like that?
No.
Just everything's at Myfield. Okay.
Correct. Yep. We were given land, gifted land in my field. So that's where we're currently focusing our energies. Yep.
Excellent. Thank you.
I have a question, Judy.
Yep, go ahead, Leslie.
On the Habitat, it was my understanding that these homes are also considered sweat equities where the potential buyer is supposed to be putting time in. Is that correct?
Correct. Habitat homeowners are required to put sweat equity into the building of their homes or other habitat programs. So if you are a Habitat homeowner, you will put in 250 hours of sweat equity. 25 of those hours are financial education courses and the rest are hands-on. And it could be in the building of your home, building of other Habitat homes, helping at our Habitat Restore. There's a number of ways to get the hours, but yes, homeowners do have to put in sweat equity to get a Habitat home.
And to the financial component too,
Who's got the background noise?
the financial education, that's prior to moving into the home, and there's also support post, move in too. So we offer
Yeah.
continued support for our homeowners as long as we have the mortgage.
I have another question. Are you still accepting donations to your stores for furniture, et cetera, stuff like that?
Oh, always, Leslie.
Okay. That
Yeah,
is
we have 2
something-
restores now. Yeah, and we need a
Okay.
lot of things to keep them stocked.
And that's something that the Housing Commission could help with, let people know that if they're downsizing, that they can make donations to Habitat
That's
for
terrific.
furniture, et cetera.
Yeah,
We've
that's
discussed
terrific.
it.
We offer, yep, we do free pickup in your area. So yeah,
Right.
that's terrific.
I used to sit on the
Mhm.
Housing Commission, so I dealt with Fran. So that's why
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
reminding the Housing Commission of some of these issues that they could be participating in.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I assume that we could contact the Restore and find out exactly, what items would be appropriate.
Correct. It's listed on our website, or you can email donate@Housatonic Habitat for information. Yep.
Great.
For those of you who don't know what the Restore is, it's completely made up of donated items, either by companies or individuals. We sell those items and that money is used to help fund the building of these homes.
I definitely recommend checking out the Danbury Restore. There's some great stuff there. We got our dresser there.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll try and get the word out about that.
That'd be great. Thank you. Now,
Yeah.
do you have a newsletter? Is it
I was
something you want
just
me to
gonna-
put in writing?
I was just going to mention that. So there's 2 things here. We have a quarterly newsletter, and I think it would be great
Yeah.
if maybe when you get closer to a build time, to put in
Yeah.
an article in the newsletter about the
That's
build,
great.
and about all of that. But if there are flyers or donation, we can also do there's an email that we could submit flyers to possibly. I have to think of, we have to kind of figure out how that would work, but there's some other ways we can probably get the word out as well.
Yeah, we have a couple of things, Michelle, that I could send you right away and you can use how you see fit for that part of it, for the donation part. The home part will have to wait until we get our plans in place.
Great. Thank you. That's great.
Anybody else? Well, thank you, Diana and John, for the work you
Yeah,
do.
thank you.
Thank you for letting
Thanks
us
for
have the
having us
opportunity to
today.
speak with you tonight.
Oh,
Really appreciate it.
well, we appreciate you being here. Thank you. Okay, let's see, next on the agenda. Okay, we had discussed last month, asking for there to be a change in the threshold of what we can spend without having to go to a town meeting. So we brought that to the attention of the Board of Selectmen. And they have agreed to put that on the agenda for the town meeting that's coming up, because that has to be approved by the town. It's, you know, it's the town's money and they need to approve that. Any questions about that? Just
Actually,
wondering.
Yeah, I thought,
Judy?
did it not happen already?
Well, no, it was on the agenda, but they didn't vote because they didn't have a chance to read it. So I think it's going to go on the Board of Selectmen's agenda again to vote and then move it to
Then it'll
the,
go to the town
then
meeting.
it would go to the town meeting. Yeah. And I just want to thank all of the Housing Commission for being there. That was great to be there and show your support.
All right, so the other thing we did, we discussed the budget with Linda Gomez and the Board of Selectmen yesterday, actually. And we're gonna put in, or we have asked for $3,000 for mailing and printing of information so that we can get people to understand what's going on with our commission and what two of the things that we want to do something for the housing trust, and let's see, the other one was the down payment assistance program. We definitely
Did we increase the budget for our secretary, since we're now meeting every month as opposed to quarterly?
They are going to put in what a typical commission gets. I think they said 4 hours a month.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's great. I just want to make sure that I get in there. That's why I was asking to see a copy of it.
That's gonna hopefully, pass. We'll see. Let's see. And we had a discussion about adding more into our fund. So I believe the way we left it is that we are requesting $100,000. Some of that, of course, we would be using for the down payment assistance fund at some point. But we, that all of that has to be approved by the town. And we had a minimum amount for miscellaneous.
Cool.
We had a very, it was a very nice, productive meeting with the Board of Selectmen. So thank you, Selectmen who are here now. At least Dean is here. I think Jay left. Okay. Okay, and updating the website. Have the members looked at our website?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to? Okay.
I have a list.
I do
Okay.
too.
Good.
I got my pencil.
Right. So, yeah, you should take it away, Lindsay.
Lindsay, do it.
Okay. Well, I should have it. I don't have it pulled up in front of me, but I know. So I was focusing on the bars to the left, the menu to the left. Some of those links were just kind of confusing. So right from the top, the AH rating just kind of took you to, I think it was a generic state website. So I just recommend removing that.
Yep.
The affordable housing plan, I forget what it's called now. My note just says change title to make it clear that that's everything that went into creating that plan. Right.
that was
it's
the
called
wrong one.
work. Oh no, I saw that. I saw it briefly.
Did you? I'm trying to share the right. Are you seeing the town website?
Yeah.
Yes.
We can see it
Yeah,
now.
that's it.
Sorry, my computer's a mess, but okay, good. I'm glad you're seeing it. Yeah, it's
So-
these
Yes.
here that I wanted to, before you go, because I have notes too, before you go down the whole list, this affordable home ownership rating ranking form, it's no longer a form, but it does
Okay.
bring you to this Connecticut Department of Housing, which may or
Okay.
may not be useful. What do we think? I would, if we could either just delete it or we could rename it Connecticut Department of Housing.
It should
So-
be accurately named.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean, do you think that's a
And then we should
useful
keep it.
resource to have there?
I do.
Okay. So
Sure,
just-
yeah, I mean,
so
I'm
we'll
recommending that
rename
we remove a number of these, so
Yeah, I
that
mean,
would clean it
yeah.
up.
Okay,
Um,
ahead.
so I just didn't like the Affordable Housing Plan Work 2021, just making that title more clear. I don't have a suggestion for how to do that, so maybe just leaving it as is. But that just takes you to a page that links all the documents and presentations and everything. I don't know if
Yeah.
everyone agrees that's clear, then definitely I think it is worth keeping.
I mean, should it not just link to the plan or plan itself?
We have that link on the main page, which I
Where?
think is a good spot for it.
Where's that at?
Believe it or not, people
go back.
actually ask to go back and see these public forums because that's where all the data was presented. So I'd like to preserve that, but I'm all for titling it so that it's clear. You know, whatever.
Could it not be a subcategory within the report itself? Like,
That would make sense to me, yeah.
yeah, so that here's the report, here's the backing information.
Oh, so make it the affordable house. Well, now that it's passed, I guess that makes sense. We could just call it the affordable housing plan, and then have the first link be the plan, and then all the supporting documents.
Yes, exactly.
Wow,
Perfect.
very clever.
Yep.
Actually, should we call it just the plan or plan? What is it? 22 through 27? Like I'll put the years there because there's some old stuff here too.
Sure.
All right, good idea. I like that.
So for DPA, the DPA program link, I think definitely keeping that, but the link just takes you to the main, the organization's main page. And if you go to, there's actually a section for local DPA assistance programs, and it mentions Washington. So I think it should just link right to that.
Yeah, I was actually thinking that we might want to have a landing page that explains a little bit, bullet points, you know, must be a first time home buyer, blah, 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 you know, explains the
Right.
program and then take you to the HDF.
Yeah, even better. So we just had
Okay.
to put that together.
Which Lindsay already started working on a flyer, and I was thinking we could kind of do because that was a 2-page, but we could just do a 1-page sort of blurb about the program as a landing page and then a link to the HDF.
Yep.
So we can work on that.
Okay, sounds good. The housing ordinance is linked twice.
Yeah.
So maybe we choose one. I think one is a PDF. I forget, it's 2 different formats. So whatever looks cleaner, but it's probably worth keeping, just updating.
All right, so this
I think the
one-
other one was a little cleaner looking, maybe.
Yeah,
That's
that
a
one looked, that's a scan in of the actual ordinance. And then this looks like.
That-
Okay, so this is, okay, I'll just make sure they're the same, but I agree, this one is clearer.
Yeah.
So we can just get rid of that one
Yep.
and one. Yeah,
So anything on here that's an actual report, I think it should make it clear that it's a report and then have the date of that report, because some of these are pretty old if we're going to keep it. So the Housing Study Committee.
yeah, I don't even know what this is.
Yeah, so maybe. Well, that we could also put all this stuff under white papers, but I think we should change the name white papers because that might not be clear to some people.
I agree. I'm just gonna see if there's actually a report. Oh, here's the final report. Okay, so that is history that I think is worth saving, but I agree, maybe not in that format. So maybe move under white paper or documents. What do we, Because this looks like it's a study that was done in order to establish the Housing Commission. Because the ordinance for the commission was passed in 2005. So the study,
Would something like earlier studies work better than white papers? Just group them under that?
Archive.
Or even not even saying early, because then we could keep adding more updated reports too. So reports and study or reports and data, something very simple. And then we could put all this stuff under
That makes
there.
sense to me. Yeah.
I like that, reports and data, and then we'll just try to put it in chronologically or something. So the Housing Study Committee, so we'll rename white papers to reports and data and move the Housing Study Committee to that as just a document.
And then I think also the senior housing survey and senior housing survey final report, those can also go under that.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree. That one's the actual survey, and this one is, the report of that survey. Okay, so both of those can also go under reports and data. Okay.
Yep, so we're down to the video. The video is on the main page. It's the first thing you see when you click to the Housing Commission if you go back. So I don't know that it needs a separate link necessarily.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah, it's right here. This shows you my limitations here because I cannot figure
It's
out
a
how to link them.
screenshot.
I can't link a picture. So there's the link right here. It was as close as I could get it. I couldn't get that white space out. It makes me crazy. I gotta find somebody who can do it, who knows the website better. But yeah, I guess that makes sense. We don't really need it on the side if it's over here on the front page. And I think leave it. Do you want to leave it on the front for now?
I think so. I think
Okay.
it's nice to have the image there.
I agree. Okay, so
So same thing with the
remove that.
mission.
I forget what that one says.
It just, oh, it's a little longer. Oh, I thought it was just that little blurb that was on the front.
Yeah.
Huh, okay.
You
I
know
was
what's
gonna say take it out 'cause it's
interesting?
on the front.
What's interesting, I remember looking at this. What's interesting to me about this is it's not dated.
It must be when it was established, right?
But it's talking about 2008 and 2010. So it's
Oh,
post.
okay.
So I'm not really sure who wrote it and why.
Is it a Word doc or is it a PDF? Are you
Um,
able to download it and then look at the file information to see who was the author and when it was made?
I don't think so. I think I go into what they call the cabinet on the website, and I can all I think I can see is like when it was posted. It's probably a PDF. I
But
don't
we
have.
can't pull it down to take a look at it. You like download it?
I
No.
wonder if Leslie Anderson would remember.
Yeah, I don't know.
Leslie?
Yeah, is Leslie still here?
Maybe
Sorry.
it's worth reaching out to her and asking.
Leslie? No. she's not answering.
She's.
Well, I
she's-
guess it's worth keeping if it is an elongated version. Oh no, if you click more, I think that's, I'm pointing like you can see me. If you click more, I think that takes you to the whole thing. Okay, so the whole
Oh,
thing
look at
is
that.
on our front page, on the main page. So maybe we don't need it linked unless we really want to hammer it home.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No.
Sorry. Little click crazy. Yeah, I didn't realize that.
Okay, I knew I wrote that down for a reason.
I agree. It doesn't need to be in both places. And I guess, okay, so we can take it out of the menu since it's on the homepage. Makes sense.
Yep.
And then everything else I had to keep. I think what is left at this point is the Northwest CT Housing Council. I think that's fine to link in there.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I had.
That's great. That's exactly the kind of stuff. I had a lot of the similar notes. Then what I would suggest is that then once we've got that all cleaned up, we add Washington Community Housing Trust and just a landing page with their contact information and information about the projects that they have.
Yep.
And then,
Yeah.
and Habitat
Yep.
with
Yeah.
a link, just a landing page with a picture of the project and contact information and whatever
right.
they give us.
I think that's great.
Yep.
But just to be clear, this website, that we're looking at right now, this is not in any way linked, shape, or form to Explore Washington.
No, it's not. This is just the town website, yeah.
And Explore Washington doesn't have any. That's more.
Doesn't have this kind of information. Explore is where we would post events. Like if we ever did a fundraising event or something, we would post it there. It's more about, it's geared towards the visitor. So for somebody coming to visit, to shop, to look for a house, for, if somebody wants to move here. So I guess if they want to move here, so maybe we should have something linking back. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they should be. I mean, from my opinion, and I don't think I'm alone in this. I mean, I don't know why they're two separate websites. It's just like the more directions you're sending people, it's better if they're all going to the same direction. I don't know. I know that's not this commission or anything like that, but it is a bit confusing to me that they're two separate things.
Yeah, they are. They're very different in their functionality and their upkeep, etc. But I understand the confusion. I mean, if we go to our homepage here, here's Explore. It's linked here. And if you're on Explore, I'm pretty sure there are places where it links back to the town website, but not that often because the town website is really, minutes and agendas and a lot of just very, it just holds and it stores a lot of information. It's not as pretty.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sort of bringing this up like, in a sort of bigger sense, but it would seem like there are towns that certainly do have them linked together, and I'd be curious about their layout. That's all.
Yeah, no, that's a good observation. Well, and I think I'm going to make a note here about Explore. There is probably somewhere on Explore where it's kind of geared towards somebody considering moving here, where it might be appropriate to link them back to the Housing Commission's page. So I will kind of take a look at that and see, or anyone else to feel free to take a look and see if you feel that there's a place to link back to, and I'll have to look and see, like, for example, if they talk about the schools, they probably link to Region 12. So, I'll have to take a look at that and see how they handle that. But that's a good suggestion.
Did you guys review the minutes yet? Sorry to jump ahead, but taking an opportunity.
Yes.
Yes. Cool.
Yes.
Okay.
Did you have a correction?
I did. Michelle Gora was in that meeting, and she's not listed on the agenda, I don't think, or in the people that were present, just to make sure everybody is accounted for.
No, I'm listed. Did you get a version where I'm not?
All right. I saw one that you weren't. I just want to make sure it's all accounted for. And when people show up, and I do apologize for not making the meeting before last week, or with the selectmen meeting last week. I have kids. I don't know if you guys know that. And sometimes my schedule and their schedules, they're just not in sync. So I do apologize. I was supporting you with spirit, though. I don't know if you could feel it.
It was fine. It worked. Thank you. Okay, are there any more comments about this website? So we have all these vacancies. We're hoping that people, maybe those who have been listening in tonight will consider joining as an alternate if you send your information to the Board of Selectmen.
Right. And Judy, we have reached out to Joan to see if there was anybody from that side to join the committee as well, right?
Whoever wants to join, let's, the more the merrier. And the more diverse, I mean, that's what we want. We want a more diverse community. We should have a more diverse commission.
Shane, this is Joan.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I miss seeing you at the market.
I know. I've been busy.
No, I don't work there anymore.
Well, and she's not there.
No, yeah.
But Shane, I could have missed it, but I don't believe anyone has reached out to me to see if anyone's interested, just to clarify that.
Well, not specifically. I'm just reaching out to anybody in the community, anybody and everybody on this that's here. If you know somebody, encourage them.
Well, I certainly appreciate that, Judy. I'm not saying that, but I will look for people that might be interested.
Okay.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You.
It's a community.
Okay. So is that on the website? Nobody has anything else to add for that?
No, thank you, Lindsay, for your very
You did a very
awesome notes.
I really appreciate
If there's something about me, I'm gonna do the homework. You will learn that.
Excellent.
Great. That's why we love having you.
Well
I'm
done.
just gonna say, I think that phone number is the first selectman's office, but I will just double check that. I'm not sure.
So I have a question for Judy. Like, when will we get approval on our budget, and then what is the process like for getting a secretary for us?
Well, the budget will not be approved until June.
Okay.
Or May, I should say May.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I would just add to that all of the commissions and everybody's putting in their requests right now to the Board of Selectmen, and then they're going to put it all into the spreadsheet and see how it shakes out, and then possibly make cuts or not. And then it goes to the Board of Finance, and they also will possibly make cuts or not. So
Sure. Yeah.
it may or may not survive all the way to going to the town. Then the town votes on it in May. There is opportunity for input, however, when the Board of Selectmen decides to, adopt their budget that they put forward to the Board of Finance, and then the Board of Finance, et cetera. So it's going to get batted around a bunch over the next.
Sure, I understand, and that's I'm fine. I'm just like curious about the timeline is. I mean, and I don't know what that hiring process is. I mean, obviously there's people on here that do a really good job of the attention to detail work, and I don't know if anybody would be interested in that position.
One of the things that Jim Brinton had said when we met with him yesterday is that it's only a couple of hours a month, and do people want to do that? I guess they have trouble finding somebody, so that's why I have been doing it.
Yeah, I know, but I would like to get
to do it. Yeah.
I get that. Right, which is why I was curious about when we would get approval so that we may begin that search. So that we do have that person sort of lined up and in place once the funds, in whatever configuration they come through, get approved. That's all.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so Lindsay, have you done anything about the down payment assistance flyer or anything like that? Have you thought about it?
I have a super rough draft that I threw together in Canva. I did not share it out before this meeting. So I could maybe screen share it right now, or I could email it out and we could talk about it next time. What do you think?
I would love to. I would love to start getting that out. I mean, I have spoken to a couple of people, young people, that are interested in trying to buy in town. They're looking in Torrington, which I just want to strangle them. But you know, it's you got to go where you can afford, and if we can
Yes.
help ship them back over to Washington. I mean, most of them already currently are employed in town, so I do think there's quite a bit that they
Oh,
would
this is
have
good.
available to them. So.
Thank you,
Oh, and
Lindsay.
I made those changes,
Lindsay, this
Michelle,
is
so there's a
Oh,
slightly
you
more
did?
updated one.
All right, well
But
then,
it not.
then
maybe
I'll
can
stop
I was just
sharing
wondering
and
if I
I'll
could.
just make you a co-host, okay?
Okay.
If you have an updated one, do you have it on your screen?
Yes, I do. Let's see.
All right, so let me just
Okay.
do that. Let me make you. Okay, so you should be able to share now.
Yep. All right. So this is super rough, and I'm not an artist, so open to all suggestions, obviously.
This is great. It's not distracting. There are the words. There's the information. It's a house.
I like
Yeah.
it. I think it's
Yeah,
simple
great.
and straightforward.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's just that, have you heard? You might be eligible if you haven't signed. Oh my God.
Yeah, this is great.
All right, this is the backside. I know, and I love the graphics that you found. They're great.
Totally legit.
So this is a lot of text. I think it could be cleaned up. Michelle, you had noted this number needs to be updated. We need who the contact info would be. This is the number I think on the website. I don't know where this goes. And then I put your email for now, Michelle. I could change that to Judy's. And then yeah, just the text needs to be cleaned up.
I think this is great. This is exactly as I kind of would imagine. I mean, so this is to be printed, and is there like a consolidated non-printy version that could be emailed, or do we just leave it as 2 pages? I don't know I don't know what the best way is to go about that, you know?
Well, that's one of the things I was thinking about for use. I actually have one realtor who is like waiting for this little brochure because she's got a house that falls probably in the right income level. And so she wants to put these in the house for people touring it. So
Yeah.
I think this flyer is perfect for that use for realtors. This is kind of what I was thinking as a landing page for the link on the website, but like you said, Shane, it should just be one page. So maybe we can kind of rethink, maybe make the graphic smaller just to have a couple bullet points. So have like the 1-page version
Right.
with
Version.
actual links
Yeah.
to the HDF.
Is that okay, Lindsay? I don't want to create more work for you.
Yeah, no, I don't mind at all. Yeah, this did not take long to throw together. Canva is amazing.
Excellent.
So I know, yeah, you can, and yeah, we could change it to like a JPEG and change the size and everything.
So when I read it, it seems like we would be loaning out the whole down payment. I mean, I think it has to be clear that it's assisting with a mortgage.
So you mean, I
Okay.
think what you're saying is instead of saying for a down payment, you'd say towards a down payment.
Right. Towards
Okay.
the down payment.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because the 10,000 is not enough for a down payment on almost any.
No.
Yeah,
No.
so it's just a interest loan of up to 10 towards down payment, towards.
Can I
Yeah.
add
Yeah.
some information here, please?
Yeah,
Sure.
let's go ahead.
Okay. First of all, you need to put in that it's the HDF out of Danbury, because there's several other locations and you're dealing with the one that's in Danbury, Connecticut. Okay?
Okay,
Second of all, you should add that they will have to be taking classes to meet the requirements to see if they qualify for a mortgage. That's part of the agreement. They have to take these classes.
Yeah, we know that. Yeah.
Okay, so you might want to, people have not taken the opportunity to take this because when they found out they had classes they had to go to, they didn't have the time. So you might want to just give them some kind of a brief update on what it is. And it's a second mortgage. It has nothing to do with their mortgage. It's a second mortgage to offset some of the costs they might run into and don't have quite enough money in their savings. And it doesn't have to be the full $10,000. It could be any denomination between 1 and 10,
Yeah, it says up to.
okay?
Great.
So just, be careful with what you put out there and then have people get disappointed, because we had that problem when the biggest problem was having to attend classes. But it helps them,
Super great.
it helps them to make sure that they can manage their money and can continue to make, mortgage payments, et cetera. That's why we gave them the interest free, and that it doesn't have to be paid back unless they sell.
I think that's really interesting that just taking the classes would prevent people. I
Oh,
mean,
It's only
it
8
prevented-
hours too.
yeah.
Huh?
It's only 8 hours of classes. It's not like Habitat, it's 25
Yeah,
hours.
I mean, I'm sure. Do we know?
And
if-
Habitat does the same thing.
Yeah.
They have their own housing development fund.
Right.
But
Yep.
you're right, they do not qualify for our down payment. We already
So-
checked into that.
So Judy, I have a question. Is the purpose of the flyer just to give people information and then they could contact whomever for information about the program? So I'm wondering whether, you can't put all of that information on a
That's
flyer.
a good point, Henrietta. Yeah. It's like a catcher. It's like
Right.
Right, I was gonna say
Marketing.
that as well. We're just trying to get people to make that phone call or send
Right.
that email.
The website's on there as well, right? Is it on the front, Lindsay? I forget.
Yeah,
down
it
here.
is. I mean, if it were a mailer format, someone would have to like type that in, obviously. So it'd make it, but yeah, it's down here. Be helpful. Oh, and here this is the link, the /local that takes you to the page that says the town of Washington has a local CPA program.
It's interesting, I guess, for me, if it's an electronic flyer, I would put the local and, link that one. But since it's a paper flyer, you can actually just do hdfconnects.org, and
And
it doesn't
take out HTTP and
Yeah, because,
Okay.
and maybe we could even put that somewhere higher in the flyer and red, like link here for more information, like make that a little more prominent, because there are details, as to Leslie's point, there are, details of who qualifies and what you need to do, but
And
it's not gonna
The other
all be on
thing-
this flyer.
the other thing is you might want to find Linda McGar's phone number, because she's the one that deals with this. So when you call and ask the selectmen, they automatically turn it over to Linda anyway. Linda's the one that has all the information and does all the paperwork.
Well, I guess that's a good question. Maybe it does make more sense to go straight to the town person who's going to be doing this, as opposed to coming through the commission first and having a commission phone number.
Yeah, the commission has nothing to do with it.
Right.
We
right.
just
Well, we could
initiated.
just
the
provide
program.
more information, but yeah, then they'd have to make that
You're
other phone
better
call
off
to
sending
pursue
them
it.
right. Yeah, you're better off sending them right to Linda McGar. She's the town treasurer. She's the one that deals with all this. She works with the attorneys. She gets the paperwork that the classes are completed and, goes from there.
That's very good input, Leslie. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Leslie.
That's great.
So how should we proceed? I can send out an email with the changes. I just feel like we're not supposed to be making these decisions via email. So do we need to wait to the next public meeting to finalize?
I
No.
think so. I think we can take all of the feedback, put it into a final draft. If we're gonna just run, if we run just a few for like this realtor that's been asking me for it, that's fine. I can do a few copies here at town hall. But if we were to run it as then it would come back to the commission as a vote on an expenditure.
Right. Okay.
Okay. Well, I can send out an updated draft to the group.
Mhm.
Thank you. Appreciate your work on that.
Should I stop share? Are we good?
Okay, is there any other new business that anybody wants to bring forth? Any visitors want to bring any information to us? Ask us questions, bring up topics?
I just wanted two super quick things at the regional housing meeting this morning. During the town update, Goshen noted that they raised $3,500 from a simple mailing, which is not a lot of money, but it's also not no money, and from an easy mailing. That's good to hear.
Mhm.
And then also Falls Village had put the idea out that they were talking about doing some sort of fundraising event, and I think we should keep an eye on that and see how it goes for them.
What kind of
I'd really
event?
be
Did you
curious.
say?
They were a little vague, and I don't know how many details are organized yet, but some sort of more they have a unit that they want to get built. So something very specifically to have people
Oh, sure.
donate to get that project done.
Gotcha. Okay, that's exciting.
So it's something to keep an eye on, just to see how it goes for them, I think.
Indeed.
Good point, Lindsay. That reminds me, I tried to find more on the web and I haven't found it yet, but I was intrigued by Norfolk's Haystack Woods project. It's a net zero. I think it's 20 units possibly that they just got a couple million from the state for. And I think, what did they, I forget if that was like a $4 million project. I forget exactly, but I was intrigued by that because it sounded like something that we might like to learn more about.
Some of those towns are doing some really good stuff, and I'm sure we can learn from them. Yep.
Is Haystack Woods a housing development, or what is it specifically?
Yeah, it's a housing development. It's net zero. I think, 10 net zero homes. And it's a $4 million project. They just got 1.8 million from CDBG. I don't know where the rest is coming from. It was, and then the woman had to leave. We didn't get to ask questions. So I looked online. Norfolk's got quite a few other housing projects, but I didn't see the particulars on this project. The fact that it was net zero, I thought was pretty interesting, because whenever you can build energy efficient, it's just that much more affordable for the homeowners, and it's better for the community. So I wanted to see if we could learn about that project.
Okay. Does somebody want to take that on as learning about it for next week, next month? Maybe we can do that. I'll try and contact them and see what we can find out.
I'm sure Jocelyn can put us in contact with Kate Johnson, who was reporting on that from Norfolk. And I think she works for their housing development. I'm not positive, but so she might just be able to make that connection, and then she might be able to tell us about it.
Okay. Anything else? Thank you all for coming. Can we have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Okay, Shane.
Second.
Okay, great. Thanks for coming. Have a
Thanks
good
for not
night.
yelling.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Have a good one.
You too.